do. I do everything with social media, all the rest of things.
Yes.
So I used them, and they worked for me. I would raise money as far as Australia, as far as USA. People would, inbox and I like your idea. I'm contributing ABCD. And most of the money I used actually raised it.
People in the diaspora can see.
Well,
the social media.
My campaign was more popular on social media. And also NRM is doing well on social media.
Yes.
In terms of
but some may say it targets the elite, and it's not that that indicative.
No, you would be shocked. You would be shocked. I would go deep in the village and the communities. You find, a grandmom tells you, "Oh, my grandson supports you," and some of those people could not know, and up to now, many of them I don't know. So it has multiplier effect.
Well, it goes without saying the advantages of being on social media, but there's also the other side of the coin, where somebody can. You've seen Photoshop.
Yeah.
Of course. Where people put pictures.
Yeah, you have to be alert.
Misinformation and things like that.
You have to be alert 24/7. You have to be, brainy. So that if something backfires, you're able to give right response.
But
you don't need to be emotional about social media.
I don't know whether you know, and you don't work at the Secretariat, but would you think NRM has a countermeasure for, say, false propaganda?
Yeah, it is doing well. It is doing well because I follow social media, especially on NRM and what opposition tries to attack us. NRM has a lot of volunteers online, on Facebook, on Twitter. They're always blogging, and so far so good. Because whoever tries to attack the candidate, they try to bring up photoshopped pictures, which don't belong to NRM, and we counterattack by showing the right pictures. I saw someone sent a picture of recent saying before the drones. That before the NRM drones, this was the picture, and which was wrong. He took a picture before, very early in the morning, before the rally even started, and then we were able to bring the pictures in the right time.
Yes, but do you really think NRM is the most tech-savvy party?
No, at the moment we're doing well. So who beats NRM? Because we have the largest numbers on Facebook. We have a lot of tweets, updates. Actually, almost every 30 minutes, the accounts of NRM flag bearer, they're updating people. Yeah, and then the response, the response rate. It's
do you think in certain parts of the country, or you are there are areas that traditionally vote for His Excellency the President? But then Honorable Mama Mbawazi came into the equation, and Dr. Besige is still there. So there's a talk of a diluting of a vote. Yeah, I don't know whose vote would be diluted, whether it would be.
The truth is, Besige has picked up some numbers. Yeah, Besige has picked up some numbers. I think Amamba was.
The hangover
has hit a dead end. His campaign. I think the threat would be Besige, but in towns. And our traditional areas are rural areas where the president is still very popular. Yeah. People who really want peace, who still value peace, are still so many. And and looking at the manifestos, what NRM is promising, what FDC and Go Forward are promising, there is a huge difference. I get disappointed somehow with their manifestos, because if you look at opposition candidates that have won power, look at. In Kenya, Uhuru, if you look at their manifesto, TNA, compared to either Go Forward or FDC, you see they are not ready to take over the leadership. And I think there are so many Ghanaians who have the same ideas, like me. Because you can't promise salaries wherever you go. Our budget is 26 trillion. If you're a serious candidate, then you should be able to show us your plans within 26 trillion. You can't move on water because the boat has functions, and then you promise modern boats. When a train passes, you promise a modern train, and you're telling us modern sub counties and jobs. You're not telling us how much it will cost. You're not telling us how many jobs you're creating at sub county and how much you're going to pay those people. Where it fits in that budget. Yeah, so
actually, that's one thing I did not really get from the presidential debate. I don't know if you watched it.
Yes, I did.
How did you enjoy it?
Yes, I follow American politics a lot, so And you know, we dream to be like America, our policy to mature. So it was a good attempt, though. As I said,
should your candidate go back to? There is another debate on the 10th.
Yeah, I'm sure. If he goes, he will really challenge him because you know he has figures, and these people, the way they were debating, you know.
But his
some of it was like comic.
But the president's style of delivery, you know, he needs to explain. So if you're going to tell him, time up and things like that, I'm really not sure how. Our president would have
he has that
standing up.
He has that respect, you know. Most of them were his genius, so he has that respect. I
exactly.
think he would bully them. So
actually, I'm looking at the presidency, not President Yoweri Museveni as such, but having the presidency, being a Ugandan and having a president stand there for 3 hours.
Yeah, but he told you himself that talking, he moves with his mouth.
He was the chairman debating society.
It is also overrated. I don't think there is anything that would challenge the president. The way they debated, you know.
Now I want to go into money. The use of money during elections. I mean, it goes without saying, you can actually see money, being spent on T-shirts and things like that. etc. etc. Is it possible that you lost because you did not have enough money to give? Or is money really a factor?
It is a factor. It is a factor. And it's because we're a small economy. But you don't know how much American candidates spend. We were just reading yesterday, someone raised around $14 million. I mean,
actually,
and that's the money they're spending in adverts.
If you're proper,
you don't know how much is 14 million you get. So money is important in any campaign, and any candidate should be prepared financially. It is everywhere. It is also hyped here that people are overusing money, but that's not true. In every country, every election, it costs money. You have just seen today NRM was giving out 250 for every village. It may sound much, but it's not much. It's not really much. Only that we have a small economy, the shilling is at risk.
And our politics may not actually be that mature, because if someone has used money, maybe a voter generally needs to be, and it's a secret ballot. So
no, money is used everywhere. Money is used everywhere, just because we're a small economy. But if you look at American politics, because that's our aspiration, we keep talking about America, we want to copy America. A candidate raises $20, $40 million for just a campaign. And in Uganda, I don't think we spend that.
Well, we're under the multi-party political dispensation, but I'd like to also, hammer around the debate about the movement system. Some people may be young and may not be familiar with the individual merit system, where an individual presents himself, but everything else is the state exists. I don't know about...
No. Even in the multi-party system, it's still on merit. Because you stand the party and people will choose you on merit, on what you stand for. First is what you stand for, and then when you go through, that's when the party comes in, because you represent the party. And again, they will look for a person who is able to interpret the manifesto of NRM and probably defend the party. So also merit comes in. You have seen statistics from Parliament. Someone goes to 5 years and has never stood in front of Parliament to speak. So the communities are becoming a way of
the caliber of people to
send Parliament
to represent them.
Because the job of member of Parliament is simple: to speak for your people. And if you can't speak, I don't know what why you're forced to come to Parliament.
You're in the wrong place.
Yeah, you're doing something.
Well, some people have been talking about, we're having a discussion about the language of communication in our Parliament. That, of course, English is the medium, but maybe that is part of the problem, because, or perhaps we should have a system like the United Nations where each delegate has an earpiece and you have translators. Maybe legislators would debate better.
Maybe then we would have to change the education system, because you're saying that the national language is English. And you have minimum qualifications. And the subjects are delivered in the English language.
Yes.
Therefore, if someone can't speak, can't understand, can't comprehend English. Then, therefore, I don't think he can do a job in parliament.
You should just conform.
Yeah, you need to send someone who is able to research, who is able to write, to do private members' bill, you know. So there are some of the things actually the media should be able to tell the communities, the kind of qualities of members of parliament they need if they're going to represent them. You see most of members of parliament saying, I'm not supposed to build a school, I'm not supposed to build a center. But then you're representing your constituents. You're a member of parliament representing Chinchis West.
You're the most visible person.
They are government policies, and your job is to follow up on the policies. If the government policy is saying every sub-county should have a center, and a member of parliament...
What's your appropriation?
You have sub-counties, don't have very centers, and you're not talking about them. They're saying every sub-county should have a secondary school, and you have none. And you're quiet in parliament. I don't know what you're doing there.
So, 2021?
I don't know. I don't know. We will be there. We will see what happens.
And you encourage other youth to, you know...
Yeah, it's a good thing. I've learned a lot.
Some youth look at politics and say, politics is a dirty game. Politics is that.
You know, you choose to make it dirty. You as an individual, you can still play that mature politics. You set your mind, you prepare your mind. You can win, you can lose. So that you reduce on the effects.
Dixon, thank you so much for coming.
You're welcome.
It was nice talking to you. Cheers. Well, viewers, that has been Uganda Votes 2016, where we share and try to hammer out some of these issues that affect us. Like I always say, don't provoke, and more importantly, don't get provoked. So thank you for watching. Till next time, have a good night.
So that's why I was very excited about it. When I saw that we could get a Mi-24 at $1.5 million instead of $8 million, which we had been, which we had failed to raise all these years, because we had need of these helicopters, but we could not afford to raise that money. Then I was very excited. So my involvement was in saying, yes, we have needed these helicopters for a long time. We had failed to get them. Now that we have a chance, let's get them. Now my second involvement was I was always inquiring, how far have you got the helicopters? Because of the bad situation our people are facing, especially in the north. I was always inquiring. In fact, I remember at one time we had a meeting in Mbale where we quarreled. I quarreled with Mbabazi and Muntu. Mbabazi was Minister of State at that time, and Muntu. In the State Lodge, I remember I was very... In fact, you remember, there was a time when I said we shall finish insurgency by certain date in the north. You can check that time. We shall finish insurgency by this date. Yeah, I think this was 96, 97. One reason I was saying that was because I knew that by that time we'd be having these helicopters, because they are very useful. That's why I said we shall finish this banditry by this date. Because I knew that with these helicopters, plus other systems which we have, we could easily have finished this insurgency. Now, when I found that the helicopters had not come because of the endless delays, that's when I had this quarrel. I remember I quarreled with Mbabazi and Muntu in the State Lodge in Mbale. I don't remember what I was doing, but I called them there and I said, what happened? I thought we would be having these helicopters by this time.